Today's Swole Fam Spotlight is from Mike. What's going on, Beaches? Welcome to the Daily Swole Podcast, episode 2676, Sunday, September the 3rd. We are already deep into striated September. And of course, tomorrow is our weekly accountability meeting at 12 noon Eastern time. So join the fam today over at swolenormousx.com. Today's episode is Ask Papa Swolio Live. So we're just taking tons of questions, and we'll get into that in just a few minutes right after we get into this Swole Fam Spotlight. And again, it's from Mike. And Mike writes, "What's up, Swole Fam? After hearing Papa constantly talk about posting in this group, I decided I'd introduce myself. My name is Mike from Long Island, New York, former obese man with a plethora of health conditions over the years. Decided to get my shit together about 6 years ago and got myself addicted to the fitness lifestyle. I have lost over 100 pounds and I'm now training others, helping them reach their goals, and I love it. I discovered the Swolenormous YouTube channel about 10 months ago, which led me to the podcast. I absolutely love it. It's practically part of my religion at this point, where I feel weird when I don't listen to the Daily Swole. Since I started turning into the podcast, my views on nutrition and recovery have changed for the better, and I've noticed the difference in my training because of it. Anyway, I can go on and on. Keep killing it out there and make those fucking gains." Mike crushing it. Thanks for the love, and thanks for applying the 7 pillars and putting in the work. I have the tools for you. We have the tools for you. We have the community. We have all 7 pillars over there at swolenormousx.com. But like I always say, it's not really useful unless you do something about it, unless you actually use it. So make sure you use those 7 pillars and check them off every day. When you feel like you are dragging ass, when you feel like nothing's going your way, look at the 7 pillars. Have you executed them? Have you checked each of those 7 pillars off your list? And if the answer is no, then do it. Even if you have to do a 5-minute brain gains meditation to take care of your mindfulness pillar, even if you need to do a Swollen 7 mobility to take care of your mobility, just do it. Execute it. Take care of your 7 pillars and do it every day. And even if you don't feel good, even if you're in one of those dragging ass periods of your life, and we have those moments day to day, week to week, if you're executing your 7 pillars, you are going to come out of it a lot quicker. You're going to feel better about yourself because you can look at those 7 pillars and see that objectively you're getting it done. And that's very important to know objectively whether you feel good about the day or not, whether you're in a good mood, whatever's going on, raining, snowing, sunny, whatever. If you know you did your 7 pillars and you executed them, you're going to feel better and you're going to be better because of it. Remember, it's little incremental changes, layers of paint. You're not going to build muscle overnight. You're not going to change your habits overnight. You're not going to lose fat overnight. This is all long-term. And when you have a low time preference, meaning if you are thinking long-term about everything that you're doing, if you think long-term, you will make better decisions. You'll make better decisions for your family, for your children, for your health. You'll make better decisions if you're not going just for instant gratification. If you have a low time preference, you're not looking for right now, you're doing things today for the future tomorrows. You're going to make better choices. Just think about that. Next time you're making a decision, think about the long term. Is that a good choice? It's all about choices. Thanks for being here. We have the Red Wine Swole Sunday Fun Day Q&A. It's about to get gnarly. We'll see. Drop your questions in the comments down below. Hashtag AskPapaSwolio. And of course, go to AskPapaSwolio.com to call into the show. We have a few calls today, so we're going to get right into it. Again, all the links down below. We still have some awesome Labor Day weekend specials over at PapaSwolio.com. 20% off site-wide. Go to PapaSwolio.com and jump on that. And of course, if you're listening to this after the fact and the sale is over, you can use code Daily Swole for 10% off every day also. But you still have another day or so to get the 20% off site-wide. So get your merch for Halloween, get your merch for the holidays, get your merch, period. If there's something that you've been eyeballing over at PapaSwolio.com, jump on that. And of course, swolenormousx.com to join the greatest fam in the realm. Again, tomorrow's episode is private, members only, accountability meeting, 12 noon Eastern time. We have awesome new announcements and things that we're working on that we're going to be talking about. That's probably going to be launching this next week. Very excited. Plus new merch and all that shit. So epic tomorrow. Here we go. Let's get into today's episode 2676. The following program is rated TV MANOC. It contains a big pair of nuts directly on your chin. It is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised. Coming in hot. Oh, this looks juicy. There's a lot going on here.
I'm seeing stars. Ow!
Hit Nico Cotto.
My nipples.
Looks like Tess Hornaday.
I'm fucking proud of myself.
You might want to get your thyroid checked.
Obesity is epidemic in the United States and a major cause of death.
What is fat activism?
I, a fat person, am sharing my own lived experience.
Pizza is a vegetable.
Your fat phobia is your problem.
It is not my place as a smaller-bodied white man to comment on it.
Radical body positivity.
What can men do against such reckless hate?
There's only one man who can help me.
This is for you new people. I only have one rule. Everyone fights, no one quits.
This day we fight!
Swole Normus.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Testing. Testicles. Welcome, everyone, to episode 2676 of the Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular swolecast, beercast, broadcast, gamecast, mancast, pimpcast, sleazecast, and slaycast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. What's going on, beaches, booshes, bustas, hustles, and yo hoes? It's your boy, Papa Swolio, back with another episode. And today's episode of the Beastcast is brought to you, is powered, is sponsored by Everest and K2, flexing on all you
fucking
Catalina wine mixer. The fucking Catalina wine mixer.
A little cramp just smashed some back, some rear delts, some biceps today, so just got a little crampy McCramperson. I hope you had a great workout today. We're coming into you hot and live the afternoon Eastern time. It's around 5 o'clock, so hopefully you enjoyed your weekend. I guess some people have a long weekend. It's Labor Day and whatnot. It's all good. It's all good. No matter what you're doing, hopefully you are focusing on your 7 pillars. If not, get on that-ish. Go to swolenormousx.com and check out the Swole Fam today. You can download your free copy of the 7 Pillars. And, of course, join the Swole Fam. All that stuff. How we doing? Let's welcome Stone Fit. How we doing? Andrew, Mandy, Positive Charisma, Matthew, Burke, Cerny. Welcome, come one, come all. And if you're new to the show, every Sunday we just do tons of questions. We do questions normally during the show, but on Sundays, all we do is questions. So we're going to get right into that. You can start dropping your questions in the comments down below. Hashtag AskPapaSwole. We got a bunch of calls here too. Before we get into today's episode, before we get the nut busted open, reminder, tomorrow's episode is private for members only. Tomorrow, September the 4th, 12 p.m. Eastern time. Big announcements, big things we're working on. A lot of you, we've talked about it kind of loosely. We've had a bunch of requests and I've mentioned that we're trying to figure something out. We have figured something out. We're working on it. It's going to be awesome. So it's not necessarily going to be released tomorrow, but we're going to talk about it probably within the next week. So very exciting stuff for Swole Normus X. And of course, we have some new merch and awesome new classes and things that we're releasing. So tomorrow, 12 noon Eastern time. If you're not a member, you'll miss out on it, but just join and then you don't have to worry about missing any private episode. Plus this coming Thursday, we have a Swole Fam Roundtable at 7 p.m., right? This is Roundtable week. So very excited about that. Thursday at 6 p.m. So looking forward to that as well. All right, let's get into today's episode. Let's get into the nut. Let's summon the Falcon and get today's party started. Oh my God. Nailed it. All right. Hashtag execute more for a chance to win today's Swole card. Now let's get into the first questions. Let's get into the first questions. I think we had a live question pop up. We got a couple calls. So reminder, if you want to call in to the show, and you can do that, we'll get to it in Tuesday's episode. We'll do more calls. You can go to askpapaswolio.com. Call into the show any day, anytime. We'll get to it for sure, unless you're just trolling and saying something stupid. We'll get to your question in an upcoming episode, guaranteed. So make sure that you call in, and we will be happy to check that out. It's great if you listen to the podcast and you can't submit a question because you can't catch the live stream. Maybe you're in a different time zone or work or whatever. So if you're unable to join in, you want to ask a question, just go there, record a message for like 30 seconds up to a minute, I believe it is. And then we'll get to it. So you can listen to the next episode and then check out your question. All right, Burke himself, Papa Swolio. What are your thoughts on behind the head moves, pull-ups / military presses? So you mean doing like a press behind the neck or doing a pull-up and bending your head forward? I don't see really the point of it. When it comes to mobility, anything that your body is prepared for and trained for and adapted for will generally be fine. Usually as you get older and your joints are more formed, you have to work a lot on your mobility to be able to do these movements without long-term issues, just because a lot of people are hunched over, they have upper cross syndrome, their shoulder capsules are very tight and closed off. So that's why you'll see these 60 or 70 or 80-year-old guys in the gym that are always like pulling back behind their head or doing presses behind their head. And you're like, how does that guy's shoulder just not like grind right off? It's because they've been doing it for 50, 60 years, because that was the popular thing, doing presses or pull-ups, Rocky style, or military presses behind the head. Honestly, there's really nothing wrong with it if you don't have issues, if you have mobility. It's not for everyone, but there's better choices too. There's better choices. If you're trying to do a press that's going to hit the anterior deltoid, you're better off coming a little bit more to the front like this and pressing overhead. There's no need to go with that extreme external rotation. You're just putting a lot more pressure on your shoulder. So whether or not it's good for you, or, you know, a lot of times when it comes to exercises, there are just better options. So it's not, hey, that exercise is terrible. Some people might love it, but if there's a better choice, don't you want to do the better choice or the better option? So I don't do anything behind the neck like that, but there are some machines. Hammer Strength has made some machines where it's a behind the neck press. So the handles are, you know, more pulled back, but it's a little bit different because you're not stabilizing the weight yourself. But you can imagine if you're bending your neck forward and you're pressing like this, that you're just not in a proper alignment. There's better choices. So we're talking about people are feeling their testicles in the Daily Swole chat, talking about ball cancer, I suppose. Interesting. I'm not reading the messages in detail, but it seems like people are doing some self-exploration, which is interesting. Good. Check yourself out. If you find anything strange, go get it checked out by a doctor. All right. Swole fam, laying it on. All right. Let's see. Let's get into a call. Okay. Let's get into a call. If you have more questions, hashtag Ask Papa Swolio. AskPapaswolio.com. And first call today is from Jorge Escobar. You're on the line. Jorge.
Hey, Papa. It's De La Junior
Hey.
The Amazon driver.
You're watching live.
So I had I guess my main question is, somebody who's gone through life like yourself and you've experienced, you know, many ups and downs, because I'm moving, right? I'm moving into my brother's place from living on my own for so many years, and mostly because I've made, you know, some bad decisions in my past that have caught up with me fairly recently. I'm using this opportunity, moving in with my brother, as sort of a fresh new start. I guess my question is it normal to feel this scared? Like, is it normal to feel like I don't know what's going on and like I might just mess up again? Mostly because I'm excited to see where this next year takes me, and I hope that it's a positive one. Thanks for listening to my question.
Dude, thanks for the call and thanks for sharing. That's some big shit. First off, you know, there are times where I moved back in and I rented an apartment and I stayed with my grandparents for a couple months, looked for a place, you know, and then moved back out, moved out of the state, came back, stayed with them for a little bit. So, I mean, it's great to have family that can support you and can help you get through these times. I would definitely not beat yourself up about it. It's important to have humility. You don't need to compare yourself to anyone else. You don't need to compare yourself to other entrepreneurs online that are crushing it and 6-figure, checking, all that entrepreneur hustle bullshit. It's a great opportunity for you to get your shit in order. We've all made decisions. We've all made, like I said, everything's choices, right? We've all made choices that we would go back in time and possibly change. I mean, some people are like, hell yeah, drop some biceps and gorillas if you think back in your past and if there was anything that you would change. Now, granted, if you changed one of those things, maybe you wouldn't be in the same place today. Maybe something bad would have happened as a result of changing that. But understand that everyone has 20/20 hindsight. You could look back and think, well, that was a stupid idea, but that's why you learn from your past so you can make better changes moving forward. And I want to clarify a little bit what you said. You're a little bit afraid. You said you're looking forward to what this next year will bring. Remember that the feelings, those physical responses by the body, fear is also excitement. Like there's a lot of similarities between fear and excitement. It's really just your mental state. So don't get confused and think that it's fear when it might just be excitement. Wow, outside your comfort zone, the unknown. Don't underestimate how used to your life you are, to your routine. We all get stuck in routines, which can be good and bad. A lot of people don't get outside of their comfort zone. A lot of people don't get outside of what they're normally used to doing. So you're going to have the butterflies, right? You're going to have that rush. You're going to have that, oh my God, you don't know what's going to happen. And in reality, none of us know what's going to happen. But because you've taken a couple steps outside of what you maybe had previously planned, there's a lot of unknown. But that's also a good situation. So it's a good thing to meditate on and think about, is it really fear or is it just excitement? And is it that physical response? Sit with that feeling, meditate on it, just allow it to wash over you and really just experience it, because oftentimes it's just that standard response to, you don't know what's going to happen. There is the unknown. But unknown also is exciting because there's a lot of options for you to move forward. There's a lot of possibilities that are just things that you maybe have not figured out yet, which is totally fine. I'm not sure how old you are, but, this is definitely one of those foundational changes. This is one of those forks in the road, right? You've made this choice and the unknown is a good thing. The unknown is a good thing, especially when you have family by your side, when you have a job, when you're obviously in a good state of mind. There's nothing wrong with feeling a little bit like, oh shit, I don't know what's going to happen, because none of us really do. So I think that's it's a very humble move of you. You're not living beyond your means. You're making some wise choices, and the future is yours. So just understand that those feelings don't necessarily reflect what you think they do. A lot of times people confuse fear for actually excitement, because it's a similar type of response, right? You're maybe short of breath, or, oh my God, you're nervous, but it's also like excitement. It could be a positive thing. You just have to think about it. I think you're more excited than you think you are. And just because it's unknown doesn't mean that you need to lean into the fear. That's just a natural response for not knowing what's going to happen. Fear of the unknown is just the most common thing. Hopefully that helped. Thanks for calling in. I think you're watching live too, so if you want to follow up. All right, let's see here. Emily C got Total Body Ignite done this morning. Some gorillas for Emily. Barrett, Papa Swolio, does it make sense to do forearm exercises to failure if I want to maximize strength? Well, yes and no. You want to maximize strength overall. You want to build muscle. You want to maximize forearm strength. You want to maximize overall strength and implement forearm training to do so. What do you exactly mean? I mean, forearm exercises, what people seem to not understand about building strength or muscle is that people act like the calves are high rep muscles. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't mean anything. You don't need to do 50 reps to build muscles in your calves or your forearms. You need sets to 2 or close failure, depending on how much volume you're doing, in the same hypertrophy ranges that any muscle will respond to. Probably like 5 to 15 is a general range. You could do more reps, but you're just incurring more fatigue. So maybe you want to do reps to failure around 12. That's fine too. But if you do heavier weight and lower reps, depending on the movement and the stabilization and the stability of the movement, you can incur less fatigue by going heavier and doing less reps. So you'll build muscle the same way. Some muscles respond better to stretch mediated hypertrophy, meaning holding in the stretch, like calves. A lot of people hold at the top and they don't spend time at the bottom. You should be holding a full stretch with your calves for 3 to 5 seconds at least, and then explode up and then go back down to the stretch. You don't need to hold at the top really. So a lot of people just don't train the muscles properly, and they think that they need to do excessive amounts of reps just because you use your forearms often or you use your calves often. Muscles respond to hypertrophy the same. Some muscles or some muscle groups might incur more fatigue and take longer to repair. You might prefer doing some more repetitions, but you should still be training close to failure. 0 to 2 reps in reserve, meaning if you have 2 reps in reserve that you stopped and you could have done 2 more, but then you'll need more volume to incur the same amount of stimulating reps over the course of your workout. So then it's really just a product of figuring out how many sets per body part is ideal for you. How many sets per body part are you able to to execute and repair in time and make progress? If you're not increasing in weight or reps, you need to adjust the volume or your scheduling. So I know I went a little bit deeper than just the forearm exercises, but you still want to train them for strength or hypertrophy like any other muscle. All right. Jay Nightwing, Papa Swolio, after thumb tendon surgery and a fractured wrist and thumb bone. Jesus Christ. You were whacking off hard. Whew. Good Lord.
Because.
After thumb tendon surgery, a fractured wrist, and thumb bone, would you recommend starting with lightweight kettlebells and medicine balls before full gym room workouts? Lightweight kettlebells and medicine balls. Well, first off, as long as you're cleared for exercise and the bones and things are healthy, you can get back to most things as long as you're progressively easing back into it. If you're cleared for exercise, you don't want to just jump right in back to what you were doing. I don't know how long you've been out for. Sounds like you've probably been not able to really push yourself. You could also use wraps. You could also, you said fractured wrist. So in other words, if you're cleared for exercise, there are things that you can use like wrist wraps and things that can take pressure off you squeezing. So for example, if you're doing back training, a lot of people don't use wrist wraps, which is terrible in my opinion, because you're taking away your ability to lift more because your grip is the weakest link. It doesn't mean you don't do grip training and strengthen your grip, but there are certain applications where you could use wrist wraps or a belt or things or straps, that can actually help you lift more and eliminate the weakest link that would take away from larger muscle groups that can produce more force. So kettlebells, as long as you have good form, medicine balls, I guess fine. Are you doing any kind of finger strengthening? What about like a bucket full of rice so you can strengthen the fingers and the joints? There's a lot of good things you can do. Club work is fantastic for the wrist and the shoulder and the grip strength. Doing light club. I don't know if you've ever done that, but I would look into that. That's fantastic. Getting like a 3 to 5 pound club, starting light. Wild Shallot, Papa Soy, I want to step up and start my own business or side hustle, but family doesn't support me on that. They want me to keep focus on studies. Ooh, how old are you? You living at home, I guess? Well, here's the thing. If you're living at home and you're under your parents' roof, well, it's their roof, their bills, their rules. So you can do both. I do not have a good opinion. I do not have a positive opinion on the education system in the United States. I'm not sure if you live in the US, but it's garbage. It's really garbage. Maybe you're lucky and you have access. I don't know if you're talking about college or high school or middle school or how old you are. You can definitely start your own business or side hustle and understand that this is your life that you're developing. So depending on all the other details, I'm not saying drop out or ditch all that stuff. But at the same time, this is your life and you don't want to resent your parents. So they don't need to support you. You need to do what's right for you. But it doesn't also, you can also do things at the same time. You could build your business slowly, watch YouTube videos. I don't know what you're doing in terms of your business, but there are some things that you can build the foundation for on the side. And then after you finish your studies or whatever you're doing, you can shift over and do that more full time. So I don't know what you're studying. If you want to drop some more thoughts, I have more thoughts on it, but good for you. Good for you. De La Junior, a little follow-up. I'm 28 now, but for the past 10 years, I've done the same thing over and over again. I finally got tired of seeing nothing change, and I'm ready to take charge of my life, and the Daily Swole has helped. Yo, that exactly. You do the same shit, you're going to get the same results. So you're 28. Fine. Let's see. I started Swolenormous. I started doing the podcast and all that stuff when I was 33. So it was 2016. Yeah, I was 33. So I didn't start the Daily Swole. I didn't start any of this stuff until 5 years from when where you are right now. So of course, everything that I did before gave me the education, the experience, and the knowledge in order to talk about this stuff. But of course, I still learn. I still learn constantly as I'm doing these podcasts and things like that. So I started at 33 doing this type of stuff. You do the same thing over and over again, you're going to get the same results. So you do have to change things up, learn different skills, give yourself some breathing room. I think you're making the right choices. I think you're fine. I think you're totally fine. I think you're excited, and it's the unknown. De La Junior. So thank you so much for helping me realize that it's excitement, not fear. Yeah, it's just your framing of it. It's the unknown. So you can definitely think that you can lean into the fear or realize that it's excitement because you don't know what's going to happen. You don't. Here's the thing. None of us know what's going to happen. But of course, bro, if you're doing the same thing that you've always done, then you pretty much know what to expect. Aside from like a comet hitting the earth and things changing for the entire planet, if you do the same things you've always done, you know what's going to happen. So you get comfortable. So anything different than that, you don't know what's going to happen. Right. You don't know what this other input is going to lead to. So yeah, I think it's just your interpretation of that natural physical manifestation of the unknown. You don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. It's good stuff. Jay Nightwing about the broken wrist and thumb from over masturbation. I'm just kidding. Am I kidding? I don't know. Maybe it's true. Switch hands, bro. Switch hands. You don't get overuse injuries like that. You know what I'm saying? I've been out of the game for about 3 months in the gym, and thank you. Yeah, it's more psychological. 3 months, it's a long time, but it's not the end of the world. The most important thing is like, hey, I'm better. Cool. I can bend my wrist and everything. All of a sudden, boom, you start maxing out. But doing grip training, grip strength, doing that kind of mobility, getting one of those like little discs for stretching for your forearm flexors. TheraBar is fantastic. Doing club work will be fantastic. A bucket of rice, get 20 or 30 pounds in a 5-gallon bucket of rice and just move your hands open, squeeze, work those tendons. I mean, you could do medicine ball stuff, and I wouldn't tiptoe around getting back into it. You just might not want to go and might want to use more machines, or as long as I don't know what your injury exactly entails, what hurts, or if you're completely clear, just ease back into it because you've been out of it for a bit. Wild Shallot. I live in Tunisia, and it's more garbage in terms of the education. Right. Well, also, I mean, I'm not sure what the culture is like there. So I don't know if culturally, is it more culturally frowned upon to be an entrepreneur? Is it more culturally frowned upon to kind of like stray from like going to college or going to school and doing this and doing that? Because there's some cultures where it's like you don't do that. Or like excelling in certain cultures is kind of like looked down upon. Like if you really work hard, you're kind of like, people turn their nose up at you a little bit. Wild Shallot, I have editing and 3D animation skills, but I still need to find people who need my services. Do you? Send us an email to team@swolenormous.com. And maybe if you want to send some samples, maybe we can do something. We're always looking for editors, and 3D animation is sweet. Again, team@swolenormous.com. Send us an email. If you have any links or things on YouTube or something where you've done some work, you can include that. All right, Loretta, my college education was 10% of my total knowledge. After a lifetime of chef work, apprenticeship would have been better if I could have done it over. Yeah, well, I really do think people need to be working first, because people just go out of high school and go to college Like, what are you going to study for the rest of your life and get into debt for 150K or more? I don't know. Kids don't know what they want. In high school, the last 2 years should be shadowing. You should be shadowing and doing apprenticeships and being with electricians or doing construction or doing physical therapy. And like, you can test and you can try different things. Like, imagine if junior and senior year of high school was you every 2 or 3 weeks, you would rotate. You would do things. Maybe you liked it, maybe you didn't, but you would figure out what you liked or didn't like. And then you would actually know, wow, I really like that. Let me study that further. Or if you need to do that, maybe, because then right after high school, maybe I really liked, let's say someone was like, I really thought being a plumber was fucking gross. You're always dealing with shit. And like, sometimes that happens, but it's really like problem solving. You're meeting people. They really need your help. And they're always happy when you fix things. And it's like you're working with pipes in the kitchen. And it's just, you're just, I don't know, maybe, like some people are just didn't realize what it was, that it's really not what they thought it was. And they will get out of college, get an apprenticeship and go down that road for trade school, get into a fraction of the debt, pay that off really quickly and be making like 6 figures after like, a year or two, rather than getting into debt. So I think that'd be a much better approach. A lot of people do that kind of stuff to get into college and be like, see, look, but that was like the overachievers, not really overachievers, but you want to show in your resume, well, here's what I did. I was shadowing this person. I was shadowing this person. All right, chat, in the Daily Swole Telegram chat, let's keep things on topic, please. Thank you. No more butt stuff. All right. Will, Papa Swolio, you already probably answered this over a call, but I couldn't find the reply. I think I have a call from you. I don't know if maybe you're asking that. So maybe I'll listen to the call first, because I have a call with your name on it. So did you ask the same question? If so, I can just play that, or we'll do it both. With recovery and implementing it, should I cut back on lifting 6 days a week or implement recovery day? Well, I mean, it really depends. Depends on how much volume you're doing. If you're training more frequently, you shouldn't be doing much volume every day, and you should be spreading it around. Everyone's going to recover differently. So whether or not you're training 6 days a week, I still don't really think that focusing on the week is the most important thing, because it's very arbitrary. 6 days, 7 days, everything has to be based on 7 days. It could be based on 8 or 9 days or 10 days. It's not that much different. If you're getting enough recovery and you're training hard, who cares if you hit it within 7 days? Because quote unquote bro splits, splitting it up, doing once every 7 days works totally fine. And guess what also works? Training a body part, 8 days, 9 days. Once every 10 days is fine, depending on your volume. If you need a couple extra days, why are you forcing it into a week? A lot of people just want to repeat the same thing on Monday, the same thing on Monday. Everyone's trying to jam shit into a 7-day period. It doesn't have to. All that matters is the cumulative volume. And if you're not doing enough volume over time, you're not necessarily going to make as much progress. So depending on your split, depending on what you like doing, you have to find what works best for you. But there's no reason why you have to restrict your training schedule into 7 days. Right? Just because the calendar repeats every 7 days, it keeps us in this psychological loop. It's Monday again. Oh, it's Monday again. No, it's not. It's linear. It's the 500th Monday of your life, whatever it is. It's moving forward linearly. So stop thinking about it like it's repeating on a loop, and then all of a sudden you're fucking dead. That's what this life does. The clock goes in a circle, the schedule goes in a circle, the years go in a circle. Nothing moves in a fucking circle. It goes linearly. So as long as you're adding volume and progressive overload, maybe you repeat your workouts. Maybe you just need a couple extra days to get things done in that order, and you like training harder and doing a little more volume, but you can't get it all done in 7 days. Cool. Expand it to 10. And then rotate and then 10 days it can repeat. And maybe that's plenty for you. You can be consistent. You're making progress. Why not? Why not? It will be over the same topic I just asked. Okay. Well, maybe I'll play it again anyway, but hopefully that answers your question, but it really depends on what you're doing. So it's a hard question to answer because it's just like a statement. Second Gen Master, Papa Swolio, if Element has made me sick before when I tried it, was that just my body rejecting the change. I'm switching back to the carnivore diet and want to have electrolytes for while I'm working 10 hours a day. How did it make you sick? Did you just drink the whole packet? Did you have one of those flavorings? I've never done the flavors. Maybe you had too much at once. Maybe it was too much sodium or too much at one time. What'd you feel? Sometimes magnesium can give people diarrhea. I mean, if you go from not having any electrolytes at all and then you're drinking a pack and boom, mixing it in really, you shouldn't have it in 8 ounces or 16 ounces of water. Mix it like in 32 ounces of water. Mix it in like a big bottle. So maybe it was just the concentration of it. You could try Redmond Relight, or they call it Hydrate now. That's good too. I just don't do any of the flavorings. So fuck that shit. Okay. Let's see. Let's get another call. Josie. Josie, you're on the line.
Hello, Swolio. The context of my question is that I'm a 19-year-old girl with very underdeveloped muscles, as I was sick with bulimia for 2 years, so my muscles are extremely weak. I'm a very long way off even being the strength of a normal person. So at the moment, my focus is on just getting stronger and putting on both muscle and body fat as I'm lacking in both of them. So obviously eating a calorie surplus. My question is, how will I know in the future when I'm finished with this stage and when I'm finished just trying to gain weight? Like, is it a weight that I have to get to? Is it a strength that I have to get to before I can think about maintaining, or even in the very long in the future doing a cut and getting lean? Like, when will I know that I'm done with this stage of just putting on mass and putting on mass? Thank you.
Putting on mass. Well, thank you so much for the call. For such an innocent question. I love it. So good for you for getting back and getting help and coming out the other side of this. You said, when will you know when you're done, I guess, bulking? You'll know, but understand that when you're putting on muscle, here's what I would make sure. Track your workouts, track your strength, track your repetitions, the weights that you're using, push yourself, train for strength. Don't do tons of high repetitions. Keep your repetitions like 6 to 15. Keep track of what you're doing so you see the progress, because if you keep on gaining weight and your strength isn't improving and you're not like progressively overloading, then you just might be gaining more fat. So you really want to focus on building that strength and muscle, and you don't need excessive calories. You just need a place for your body to utilize those calories. So eating plenty of quality animal products, raw dairy, steak, chicken, fish, all those things, the highest quality that you can manage, and just being consistent with that. So you said, when will you know? I can't really tell you when you'll know because I don't know anything else about you, but I will tell you from what you explained, the last thing you need to worry about is cutting. Like, you've already been that road. You say you're very under muscled. The most important thing is that you focus on quality foods, lifting heavy, learn how to strength train properly. And it takes time. So it's not like, 5 months you want to be doing, you're going to want to be like bulking or putting on muscle and focus on strength training and eating in like a slight surplus probably for a year or two. And I'm just saying that blanket overall. A lot of people, they do this like 3-month bulk and then they cut. You didn't really build any muscle, and you're just kind of like cutting what you already just put on. You're going to go back to where you started. So bulking or putting on muscle takes a lot longer than people think. And remember, it's going to be ups and downs. Just make sure you don't want to get obsessed with weighing yourself, because that doesn't tell you how much muscle you're building. That's why pictures are great. You don't want to over obsess with the scale, but that's why tracking your workouts. If you see your strength going up and you see that like, hey, I was doing 20 pounds for 8 reps last week, and now I'm doing 20 pounds for 10 reps. And then I'm going to go to 25. And now I did 6 reps. Now I'm doing 7 reps. And now I'm doing 10 reps. You're putting on muscle. You're recovering properly. You're building strength. So I would just keep track of what you're doing strength wise and muscle wise. That way, that you're making progress in that area, because fat's not going to lift for you. So if you're putting on 10 pounds, but you're not getting stronger, then you might just be eating a lot and putting on more fat, there's nothing wrong with that. You need to add overall mass, but of course the strength training is going to be very important for you. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about cutting for a while. I think you're worried about the end without focusing on what you need to do right now every day. So that's much more important to keep those habits. Don't worry about the future yet. It's not easy to build muscle. So you need to focus on keeping those healthy habits, keeping focused, making sure there's no triggers or relapse or people that you would spend time with that can lead you back down that darker path. Just make sure you stay focused and stay plugged into the podcast. You could also join us over at swolenormousx.com if you're interested in joining the fam. If you need more community support, we're here for you. So thanks for calling in. Awesome. Good question. Good question. Fantastic. Let's get a Hadouken. A little Hadouken there. Thank you, Josie. Fantastic. Excellent. All right, Wild Shallot, just dropping bombs. I have Achilles tendonitis on both feet, and I have toothpick calves. Hopefully I can walk again, but I can't get a good stretch doing calves. Do I need to wait more, or do I just do it? You have Achilles tendonitis on both feet. Well, if you have tendonitis, if you currently have inflammation, last thing you want to do is cause more damage. The Achilles takes a long time to recover and repair. You don't want any tears or anything like that. What I would recommend is stretching a lot. Practicing yoga is fantastic. Start doing like alphabet first thing in the morning, doing like capital A, B, C, D, all through the whole alphabet, just warming up the calves, stretching. Also using things like tennis ball or golf ball under your feet just to roll out the plantar fascia, reduce tightness in your feet, doing some anterior tibialis work. So doing some toe lifts, maybe like with a towel or like a pillow under your heels if there's any kind of like contact pain, but like lifting your toes up, doing toe lifts or doing like anterior tibialis. There are certain contraptions that you can buy online on Amazon and stuff that you put your feet in, you put a plate on there and you can do toe lifts on the edge of a bench. So those are fantastic to strengthen the front of your feet. But you could do it against the wall, leaning back against the wall and just do toe lifts to strengthen the muscles on the top of your feet, the extensor digitorum and the anterior tibialis. So that can help balance. A lot of times when it comes to the calves and overuse injuries or just imbalance injuries, it's because of shoes and heels and elevation. And most people, run heel to toe. So they're just impacting their knees and just a lot of impact. And that's not how the body is supposed to absorb shock. So over time you get shin splints and you can get Achilles tendonitis and stuff like that. But yeah, the last thing you want to do is start stretching an inflamed, swollen tendon, things like that. Yeah, you could use ice and things like that for like acute inflammation, but long term, you want to probably use things like heat and warm it up properly. And a lot of times when you have tendonitis, there are different ways that it can come about, but a lot of times it's overuse or there's a muscle imbalance where you have a tendon rubbing too much or being overstretched or over lengthened or over tightened, and there isn't the complementary strength on the other side of the joint. So people have really tight adductors and weak abductors in the hip, or really tight hip flexors and really weak hip extensors. So you get injuries in the shoulder because you have tight internal rotators and, scapular depression or scapular elevation or whatever it is, or depression with the pectoralis minor. You'll have certain overactive muscles, or because you're doing stuff to the front, you're slouched over. So muscles on the back aren't pulling and opening up the joint, and you can have the shoulder capsule become imbalanced and the humor starts rubbing, and then you start getting pain in your shoulder because the rotator cuff is having a little more friction. Things can happen over time. All right, let's get another call. Again, you want to call into the show? AskPapaSwolio.com. Good questions today. Great shit. Tia's on the line.
Hi, Papa Swolio. This is at Forever Shifting. That's my Instagram handle. I'm always commenting on your videos. I just want to say thank you, by the way, for everything. So I have a question. What are some exercises I can do at home that are still, effective as if I'm going to the gym, in terms of me working on my core, my midsection, my stomach, my gut? I have a weight here that's 20 pounds. So yes, do you know any exercises that I can do at home that would be effective for the core area?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of different things. I would recommend starting doing yoga. I'm not going to sit here and just list off exercise you can do with a 20-pound dumbbell for your core. I mean, core is everything from your neck to your pelvis. So you could do planks, you could do leg raises, but you're not going to spot reduce fat. So if you have a gut, you could do all the crunches you want. You're not going to lose fat around your stomach. You can't spot reduce fat. So what you can do at home is throw everything out in your fridge and throw out. Honestly, that's the most important thing you could do at home. The most important thing you can do at home is to do an elimination diet, to go through and make sure you're getting rid of all the inflammatory foods. Focus on your nutrition. If you don't know what an elimination diet is, join us over at swolenormousx.com. Download the 7 pillars, go to the blog, check out, elimination diet, type in Swolenormous and elimination diet, in Google. I'm sure shit will pop up. But there's so much stuff that you could be doing that's going to dramatically improve your chronic inflammation, gluten, vegetable oils, seed oils, processed sugar, a lot of other artificial sweeteners. All these things can just be gotten rid of. In terms of doing stuff at home, you're much better off just like doing yoga, practicing yoga. You could do that at home. And sure, there's many exercises you could do with, a random 20-pound weight. I mean, things I want to just go list off exercise. You could do pretty much any exercise, but you can't progressively overload. So again, because you can't spot reduce fat, it's any other ab exercise that you can just Google. But at the same time, I would recommend getting into a strength training program. I would recommend strength training and getting a membership at a gym or getting some equipment that's a little bit more that you can build into if you want to do a home gym. I don't know what your situation is or your space or whatever it is like that, but there are many exercises, but it's not going to fix whatever you're doing in the kitchen. That comes first. It might not be the answer that you wanted, but that's the answer that you need. All right. Thanks for the call, Tia. Feel free to call back in if you want to. I got a call here from Will, but I think Will said we already answered his question. So Will, if you want to follow up a little bit more, and we got a little time maybe for a couple more Instagram. We haven't gotten to Instagram questions yet, so that's exciting. All right. Cara Alexis 03. If I exercise, Papa Swolio, and eat healthy every day, will I become a skinny queen? I don't know. And to be honest, I don't care. Matt Damon. If I exercise and eat healthy every day, will I become a skinny queen? I don't know. You don't want to be skinny. You want to be fit. Skinny queen. Oh my God. Kara. I guess Kara's like 4. Kara follows up with another question. Very important. Do you have a favorite dinosaur? Yeah, Swolosaurus Rex. The Gymosaurus. The Gymosaurus. Lytle Crew 09. Papa Swolio. Favorite training day or exercise or both? If you've been listening to the show for any amount of time, I don't give favorites. It's very hard to not dislike something that you're doing. So I'm just going to answer for anyone else. Avoid picking a favorite and avoid thinking I love training this over something else. Like anytime you're going to train, like you have to love training and love working everything. Do not think about things like, oh, I hate training back, or I hate training biceps, or I hate training shoulders, or I hate training. It doesn't matter what you're training. You need to train it hard. So if it helps you be like, I love training this, fine. If saying I hate training this makes you train it harder, then fine. Like whatever it is, it does not matter. The favorite training day is whatever one you're doing. So that's what needs to be the focus. Doesn't matter if it's your favorite, doesn't matter if it's your least favorite. You can tell people in the gym that have favorites because they have skinny legs or they have skinny something, like they're very imbalanced because they don't train it at all, right? The famous trope, skipping leg day. Like how are you skipping literally the largest portion of your body? It does not compute to me, people that fucking skip legs. It is absolute insanity. It does not make sense. They're not serious. Anytime you see someone who's really big and like tiny legs, it looks fucking, it's a circus. So I don't have favorite exercises. Those also change. Sometimes like whatever is working at the moment If I find something like that really works, I do what works. I do what works best. Now, does that mean I don't have some workouts that are just better than others? Like, ooh, this workout was really great. And sometimes you finish a workout and you're like, it was not everything you thought it would be. But getting a pump is not necessarily what's going to get you results, right? Progressive overload. Sometimes you have more of a pump some days than others. Sometimes you get sore from certain workouts more than others. Those don't mean that you're building more or less muscle or building more or less strength. Objectively, you need to be getting stronger and doing enough volume over time. So that's what you have to play around with. Sean Mack in the Telegram. Papa Soy, I remember doing weight class for a semester in high school. It was required because of the sports that I played. And we were taught to do incline, straight, and decline press to develop the pecs. Is that true? Yes and no. So there are, there's the clavicular portion of the pecs, then there's a sternal portion of the pecs, and there's also part of the pecs that actually attach in the costal region. So everyone's going to have different response to certain movements. I have a bunch of chest machines. I actually have like 5 or 6 of them, and some of them feel heavier than others. Some of them hit a little bit differently than others. There's different tension through different parts of the movement, so they all react differently. Your body doesn't know what it's doing. Your body only knows the stress. Your body doesn't know what weight it's doing. It just knows about the stress through different parts of the movement. So some people talk shit about decline press. Using like a slight 10 to 15% decline for a flat bench, like lifting the front a little bit, is really more or less all you need. You could do chest dips. I have a decline chest press machine, which is great. Not all of them are great, but bottom line, you just need to really be doing a solid, some sort of flat press and incline for most people. Most people lack more incline or more like clavicular portions of their pecs. Let's see if I can activate it like up here. Can I do it? If I could try to get it. Let's see. If you could see it. Anyway, the clavicular portion is from here. It's like from here to the shoulder. So like when you're going kind of up and across, you'll hit a little bit more of that upper portion of the chest. Now, it doesn't really mean when you do incline chest or incline presses, it doesn't really target the upper chest more. A lot of people think it targets the upper chest more. From everything that I've learned, all it really does is targets the sternal portion of the pecs less. So it's not like, oh, it's more upper chest. It's just less of the other rest of it. So if you had to choose 2 of the 3, I would say just doing incline or flat. You could also do incline and you can sprinkle in some decline, but incline and flat is really going to be most of what you need. You really don't get people that have like a jacked upper chest and then no lower chest. Doesn't really happen like that. So more often than not, people need to bias more with incline. So you can do incline and flat. So what I do is I'll do incline and flat press. So I usually start my workouts with incline, 1 or 2 movements for incline, and then I'll go to either a flat or a decline, and I'll just mix it up. So I have like an incline press, or I'll use an incline Smith machine or something like that, or dumbbells. And then I'll do either one of my flat presses, or I'll do just kind of like what I feel like, one flat press, or I'll do the decline and like a fly, like a pec deck or something like that. So yeah, you don't have, so some people, some people talk shit about decline. Decline's great, but not all declines are equal. And also how much of a decline. You don't need much. You don't need like a massive decline, because then you're just not really stretching the pec fibers as much. So full range of motion. Make sure when you're doing chest, your like elbows aren't really high. You want your elbows kind of like 45 degrees, get a full stretch. And some people don't really need to do incline at all, and they get full development. So everyone's gonna be a little bit different. Everyone's gonna be a little bit different when it comes to that. Yeah, you're welcome. There's really no need. It really depends on your volume, but to do incline and flat and decline, it's kind of overkill. So You know, and understand that a lot of people, when let's say you're using a flat bench or a machine, if you're arching your back a lot and you're really arching, you're kind of making it a decline. So here's another piece of advice for anyone that's doing an incline press. Make sure you're keeping your back flat, because if you're arching your back on an incline, you're actually making it less incline. So if you're trying to do an incline bench and then you're arching your back a lot, you're kind of making it a flat. So if you're flat and you're arching your back, you're making it more decline. So just keep that in mind. Make sure you're not taking your body out of position and not getting what you want. You can also, I have this shoulder press machine. I have this shoulder press machine that if you have a shoulder press and you lean back a lot on some shoulder presses, you could actually make it an incline press. So if you don't have access to an incline press, and if you're at a gym, you can, take a shoulder press and maybe arch and lean back and get some good positioning and actually make a shoulder press more of an incline. So you can get creative. All right, good questions. Yeah, actually, I mean, pretty damn good, lads. Pretty damn good. Geez, Kara Alexis is like watching me from the road or something. Holy shit. Yo. Oh my, I'm scrolling through. Kara Alexis asked like 90% of these questions. Maybe we should save some, because they're all stupid. Kara, let's just do a couple more. What's your favorite room in your home? An interesting question, because I don't even have one. I like my house. I like all of it. I like all areas. I like the sauna. I love the kitchen. I mean, that's Mama Swolio. I mean, it's my domain too, but Mama Swolio, that's like her home. Like that's just genetic. And we have a gym in the house. Like the whole house is like a gym wellness thing. The favorite room in your house, whichever one you're not in, Kara, let's put it that way. No, it gets worse. People are like, someone has a crush. No, it gets creepier. Kara, would you rather have hands for feet or feet for hands? Absolutely hands for feet. 1,000%. What am I going to do with feet hands?
Matt Damon.
That'd be ridiculous. Kara Alexis, again, do you have any injuries you've obtained? Yeah, you keep killing my brain cells. So please stop. Brain damage from reading this shit. I like that, hands for feet or feet for hands. Just thinking of things to ask. It's not a bad question though, but absolutely hands. There's the tainty man. Oh, look at his little tainty peepee. Look at the tainty peepee. Tainty man. Showing off your chode. I can't share the camera, but we got some Papa Swolio over here in the corner. Papa's in here too. Papa's off on the side. She's right over here to the left behind the pillar. Oh, sweet beach. So Papa's in here too. All right. Hashtag execute more. I keep wanting to end it, but I'm curious. Aliyah Mejokiho 9992. Papa Soy, does intimacy affect your gains? If yes, how so? I will say that your avatar is looking mighty fancy. This individual looks very dapper. Very dapper. Does intimacy affect your gains? Like the old bone? I mean, I don't think it hurts your gains. It definitely doesn't hurt your gains, but like banging, like busting a nut before you work out. Like that whole thing where it's like, hey, does your performance go down if you nut first? Kara Alexis 03, which Disney princess is the most annoying? Ooh, I have to think about that for a second.
What is the best move to silence a woman?
Is that a trick question? Is that a trick question? All right. Oh, this is a good one. What's one thing everyone looks ridiculous doing? That everyone looks ridiculous doing. Staring at their phone. I know we all do it. We all look at our phones. But when you're out somewhere and you see people looking at their phones, everyone looks like a fucking idiot. So whenever I see that, I'm like, oh God, like that's an instant put the phone down. When you see everyone like around a table or outside, just like everyone looks like a fucking idiot. Okay. There's also probably taking a selfie. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No one's taking a solid selfie that like, that looked good. Eating bananas. Kara Alexis, again, which season would you be and why? Swole season. Yow. Yow. It's like as many retarded questions as possible. We got two more and one more from Kara Alexis, the Irish modeler. All right. Papa Swolio, is it okay to not go to the gym because I'm too young to go? Oh, I suppose if the gym has an age limit, but you can do push-ups and yoga and pull-ups and stuff at home. And when you get older, you can go to the gym. So you have something to look forward to. If they don't let you in because you're too young, yes, it's okay. But the gym is wherever you train, so you can still climb trees and shit. So go be a kid. Last one from this person. Kara Alexis 03. What's the most embarrassing thing someone has walked in on you doing? That's an interesting question. I actually I can't think of like any kind of like masturbation story. What's the most embarrassing? These are actually like, that's actually a fun question. The most embarrassing thing. I don't know. Maybe I was like eating pea protein or something. I was eating broccoli. No, you didn't see that. Were you eating oxalates? No, it's not what you think. I don't know. The most embarrassing thing. I swear this never happens. I actually have to think about that. I don't have anything that pops into my mind. All right. Interesting. Questions got closet broccoli eater. I'm just like slamming spinach when I get off the podcast. Oh my God, just green smoothies. Everything I can muster. Talking to the tainty man? Talking to the tainty man? Well, he can understand me. Right, tainty boy? Rufus. Right? Talking to you, buddy. You're a good boy. You're a good boy, tainty man. I'm almost done with the show. I'll come back. He's like, that's it? I rolled over for nothing? You're totally off your bed, dude. A bag of carrots under my desk. We'll have to she's sleeping, but maybe we can do a little Papa Swolio cameo, right? Maybe a little cameo from Papa. All right, let's give away today's Swole card. Thanks for the questions, fam. Good Q&A. Make sure that you are join the Swole fam over at swolenormousx.com in order to be there for tomorrow's accountability meeting, 12 noon Eastern time. We got a delicious Execute More card, so let's give that away. Hashtag Execute More in the chat. Let's give this shit away. Scrolling. Fanny Zeng, congratulations. All right. Congratulations. Send us an email to support@swolenormous.com. Swole card 2676 in the subject. Your mailing address in the body of the email. 24 more days into the next until P3S8 fam. All right, let's nut this beesh, and we'll take some soundboard requests. Let's see if we can get some Papa Swolio in there. Who wants to see a little Papa Swolio? We got to hear it in the comments. We got to hear it.
I don't know how to put this, but I'm kind of a big deal.
Maybe I can hold the maybe I can move Church's camera over to her. Oh, there she is. There she is. Oh, baby girl. She's a-sleeping. Look at all the dog hair. Oh, tainty, man.
You trying to squeeze an inch in on me somewhere, huh?
What you doing, buddy? All right. Baby girl. All right. I like this dynamic cam. What's up, buddy? The Tainty Man! Oh, look at that sexy face. Good girl. Look at Tainty Man. No eye contact, coast to coast. All right, very nice. Excellent, excellent. I like the dynamic, the dynamic cam we got. Let's see. We got the Church here. Hi, cutie. Say hi. Hi, Bishi. Hi, Bishi. What'd you do? Did you scare her away? Did you eat her? What'd you do? That's not your bed. Hey, Rufus, get on your bed. On your bed. Where's the goat? Hocking it up? Uh-oh, it's getting intense. Baby girl. All right, let's get into it. All right, go lay down. Go lay down on your bed. On your bed. On your bed. All right, let's say goodbye. That was cute. There she is. Look how big his paw is compared to her body. Yeah, she's like, fuck this. She's like, fuck this. All right, fam. Thanks for being here. We'll see you tomorrow for the accountability meeting at 12 noon Eastern time. That was fun. That was fun. We'll get a little dynamic pup action. I like that. Maybe I'll have to get another camera that I can just like move around. That's meant to move around. So, yeah, he just destroys things. He just destroys things. She's sitting right next to me. Let's see. Let's get a little hoist. Let's hoist her up. Hoist, 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 hoist. Yeah. Oh, there she is. Go lay down on your bed. On your bed. There she is. There she is. You're a good girl. Oh. I bite you. Daddy bites. Your breath is stinky. Yeah. Everyone always asks where you are. They always wonder where you are. They love you so much, and you're so cute. You're so cute. Okay. All right. And she's still running around, and she's still doing great. We keep doing the math. So it's almost 2024. So that's she's like 18 or 19 years old. It's fucking ridiculous. Mama Swolio got her when she was like 2 or 3 in 2008. So that's 16 years plus like 2 or 3. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. She's running around. It's ridiculous. Like, she's sleeping a little bit more, and like she's a tank. We checked her out recently, and they said she's doing great. Like, I think she has like a little bit of like a heart murmur, which is like normal for Chihuahuas, like heart disease and stuff when they get older. But she's like doing great. So it is what it is. We'll see how it goes. But she's still trucking. Fam, thanks for being here. I love the gratuitous pup action at the end of the show today. Maybe we'll make that a thing. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you tomorrow at the accountability meeting. Join us, swolenormousx.com. Peace, McGee's, Deuce, Magoose, your boy Papa Swolio. Oh.
Crazy flow, need a straight jacket. Cash flow, I'm a bank addict. 6 subs, had the bass smacking. 808s, had the place clapping. 3 girls is enough for me, so I pull out like the stock crashing. Like an IPO, trying to purchase me. This a private sector, so you can't have it. Faking all that boom bapping. Who you think you is, boy? 90s want they sound back, so I give rap all these fake rappers as I take matters in my own hands. I don't need rapping, I don't need Zans. I don't need help, I'm a grown man. Now the king left and they so mad, it's like...
Then yeah, I found that young king with my crown at 10 racks in the fanny pack, couple hundred in the Louis bag.
That's a bag that you made. That's a bag that you made. That's a bag that you laid. That's a bag that you laid. What kind of game is you playing? We go hard in the paint, chill. What the fuck is you saying? I only go where they pay. What kind of game is you playing? Yeah, whoa, my shit is relevant. On topic, my melanin is popping. I'm taking skeletons on closets and making new deposits.